This is my trusty Pixel 6a. I had this for a really long time and it is a fantastic phone. But unfortunately, I don't know if you can see at the very top edge there, right there, there's a crack. So I went out and I bought a replacement screen. I got this off AliExpress for like maybe $60 US, and we are going to try and replace it. All right, this is my first time ever doing one of these repairs. I'm just unboxing this now, and after I've unboxed it, I've realized something. Okay, before I go on, I just want to say that there's kind of a larger bezel or border around the screen itself. You can see this whole cutout. It's actually joined up with the bezel. But if we go to the OEM screen, the bezel and the camera, there's a gap between them, so that's a bit annoying. Not a perfect OEM replacement, but this is just going to be a spare phone. I got the hairdryer going here. It's just meant to loosen the adhesive that bonds the screen to the rest of the phone, and this took quite a while. I tried a few different suction cups without applying heat, and that didn't really work out for me, so I busted out the hairdryer. I was here for maybe 5 minutes plus, just getting warm air onto the edges of the phone, and that eventually worked out. So after that, I finally get a pick inserted into the gap between the screen and the phone body. Nice. Oh my gosh. And yeah, I said nice. Must felt really good. Apply some isopropyl alcohol, and then get some picks in, just go around slowly. Finally, I get there. It took me ages and ages to get to this point, but I think this is probably the hardest part of the whole thing. Once I'm done there, I go around the phone, just loosen up all the adhesive. Took me a while. I wanted to be sure that I don't cut the cable, and then I put a suction cup on the back just to ensure that the cable doesn't break. Let's unscrew this little bracket in here, and then we're going to have to pop the bracket out. It's going to go flying right now. There's quite a bit of like tension. There it goes. And then we can finally disconnect the screen from the rest of the phone. Can you see that? So I want to remove this cable from this connector. Unfortunately, the screen replacement that I bought did not come with a fingerprint sensor, so I had to reuse the old one, and I was very worried here. I heard that the fingerprint sensor itself is quite delicate, and it's made of glass, so if you bend it too much, it can actually just shatter or snap. So I apply a little bit of heat here. Using the hairdryer, I'm really hoping that this can loosen that adhesive. I think the key is just really taking your time, being patient, using some isopropyl alcohol. That doesn't look damaged. I was worried because apparently this is made of glass and it can break. All right, the next step was just removing all the old adhesive. This was very stubborn. I tried to just use a screwdriver at the start just to kind of scrape it all off, but that wasn't working well for me. It was just taking too long, so I applied a bit of isopropyl alcohol, and that was really effective. While I'm here, I may as well talk about why I still want to keep this phone. So the Pixel line has something called Wi-Fi hotspot. So you connect to a Wi-Fi hotspot, and then you can use your phone as a hotspot. But rather than using your mobile data, you can use that Wi-Fi connection as the source of the data. You might think, yeah, I mean, I don't really care about that feature, and that's very fair. But sometimes I find myself like, if I'm on a plane or if you're on a cruise, normally you have to pay Wi-Fi per device. I can just use one device, which would be this phone, and then I'll connect multiple devices to this phone. So I'll be able to have multiple devices on Wi-Fi while I only pay once. Okay, next was reseating the fingerprint sensor. So I found this very tedious trying to get the perfect alignment, and also to get this ribbon cable into its home. Oh my goodness, you're gonna hear me talk about it. Oh my goodness. Holy crap. I don't even know if we're gonna be able to capture this, but there is, oh my God. Okay, let me grab a pair of tweezers so I can even try to begin to explain how tight these tolerances are. So underneath this white shell, above these pins, there is a small hole. There is a small gap for this ribbon cable to enter into. Holy smokes, that is so small. Oh, okay. I think I got it. Okay, very fortunate that I managed to get it there. I thought it was going to take me a very long time, but unfortunately my fingerprint sensor isn't really adhering to the back of the screen, so I've got some electrical tape here that I'm going to use just to tape down the cable, tape down the fingerprint sensor, and I hope that it's going to be okay. Now that fingerprint sensor has been latched, and the only thing I really need to do is just to test whether or not this screen works. Okay, I've plugged it in. Here I put a suction cup on the screen, just so when I put the phone down, the screen has something to rest on, so the flex cable doesn't stress too much and break. But God, this suction cup is too fucking strong. Oh, fuck. Yeah, crap, it actually worked. It actually freaking works. The last thing to do, I suppose, is just add adhesive. So, holy crap, look how thin these adhesive strips are, man. You heard it there. So just applying these tiny adhesive strips, trying to cut them to size. I think that if I ever had a chance to do this again, I would just use glue. I think that is just a far superior option. And this tape was nowhere near sticky enough to keep that screen on and stay waterproof or watertight. But given this is just a spare phone, I'm not too worried about it. But maybe tips for the future. Future me. All right, all in all, took me about 90 minutes to do this. I think you can get it done in less than an hour just because I was recording and I was going around the house trying to find different things here and there. But yeah, it's a very easy repair. God. Holy God. Okay, unlock. I mean, the screen seems relatively responsive. Unfortunately, the fingerprint sensor did not work at all. After coming to that realization, I think I knew that I had misaligned the fingerprint sensor. So it's time to go back, undo all that work, and try and reseat the fingerprint sensor in the correct place. Obviously, I've taped things down, so I just have to undo that tape, but at least I haven't sealed up the phone, and I checked everything before I was going to close it. Okay, as you can see here, it looks like the fingerprint sensor is actually working, so I'm really pleased with that. Now all that's left to do is to put a bracket on and then screw it down, which is what I'm doing here. And then we can finally remove this adhesive and then seal the phone. That's it for me. I'm out. Like and subscribe. Bye.